To flush the cooling system, you'll need air compressor, coolant, 18 liters for a 2.0 TSI flush, vacuum coolant refill kit. See previous video, coolant reservoir adapter. The adapter was the only useful part of the service kit I bought online. Water reservoir with hose, additional hose for collecting the returning coolant. Ensure good ventilation while working. A carbon monoxide detector is your friend. First, disconnect the G62 temperature sensor. This will force the temperature regulators open and allow the system to be flushed. You'll also notice that the radiator fans will start running immediately after starting the engine. Disconnect the return hose from the expansion tank, extend it with an additional hose, and route it to an empty container. In its place, connect the empty container and fill it with coolant. Depending on the situation, you can start by flushing the engine with fresh coolant, or, if the current coolant is discolored or contains visible particles, first flush it with deionized water and then repeat the process with new coolant. I switched from G13 coolant to G12 Evo, so I started with water. The steps are exactly the same, so for clarity, I'll only show the steps with coolant. Before you begin, identify the 3 return lines. Number 1 is from the cylinder block, number 2 is from the cylinder head, number 3 is from the heat exchanger. First, flush the cylinder block. Clamp hoses 2 and 3 with hose clamps. Start the engine and allow the coolant pump to pump 5 liters of coolant through the cylinder block. Because the other 2 lines are blocked, full coolant pressure flushes the cylinder block. The pumping process is quite rapid, so be prepared to stop the engine at any moment. Now you see why you need a water tank to supply coolant to the reservoir. In the second step, flush the cylinder head. Now clamp hose number 1 and hose number 3. Leave the return hose from the cylinder head free. Start the engine. Flush the cylinder head with 5 liters of coolant. Stop the engine after flushing with the appropriate amount of coolant. In the third step, remove the clamp from the return line from the heat exchanger and clamp the remaining 2 lines. Start the engine. Flush the heat exchanger with 2 liters of coolant. After flushing the heat exchanger, stop the engine. Finally, remove all clamps from the return lines. Flush the entire system one final time, adding an additional 6 liters of coolant. Now you can be sure that there is no old coolant or contaminants in the cooling system. Clamp the return hose to prevent leaks. Connect the return hose to the coolant reservoir. You can now remove the hose clamp. Top up the coolant level if necessary. The flush procedure is almost complete. Once you have finished working, remember to reconnect the G62 temperature sensor. Now you're ready to ride. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoy this content.